Singing in the
Confronting.
Magic cane.
Ma'am?
You've heard of ghouls and ghosts and goblins. What if I told you they were real? What if I told you that there are portals from their world into ours?
Mischievous we, thou surely jest. Fear everywhere. Scary.
Magic.
A phantom.
Singing in the bathtub, happy once again. Watching all my troubles go swinging down the drain. Singing through the soap suds, life is full of hope. You can sing with feeling while feeling for the soap.
Hey, Ma'am?
Isn't so nice to see. Fluttering around the bathtub is a rainbow to me. Reaching for a towel, ready for a rub. Everybody's happy when singing in the tub.
Phantom once in a time, gaze long and hard.
Confronting.
Scare spirits. Killers beware.
What's going on?
Through the look.
singing in the
I can even whistle and splash around.
Confronting.
Never take a shower. It's an awful pain. I get inspiration every Saturday night. Why am I alive? What is this day? Pardon I'm so happy when singing in the cup.
Have you ever lived in a haunted house? Have you ever seen a ghost? What would you do if you did? I think it's safe to say that confronted by a spirit of the dead, most of us would panic and run, provided, of course, we're not already frozen with fear. But what's to be scared of? Why should we run? After all, these were once people like you and I, only now they're minus the physical body. Why? Because many of our views and beliefs in the paranormal are influenced by what we've seen in the movies and on television. There are no monsters hiding under the bed. There are no mythical creatures lurking in your cupboards. In fact, it would seem that only a small percent of people have actually seen a ghost. And those lucky, or unlucky enough to see one, will tell you that their experiences, whilst no doubt frightening at the time, were completely unlike anything featured on TV or in your typical scary movie. Actual sightings of ghosts tend to be rare, and even then, it seems unoften that the ghost does anything more than walk through a wall or disappear into thin air. These are believed by most parapsychologists to be recordings of past events somehow captured by an environment such as a house, building or battlefield. These recordings can then be triggered and replayed, much like a video recorder, allowing what often appears to be a traumatic or strongly emotional event from the past to repeat itself in the present. Despite various theories, there is unfortunately no definitive explanation as to how this is possible. So what's to be scared of? A ghost replaying an event from history is surely an exciting experience. A window in time, allowing us a peek back at the past. But what about those reported to have returned from the other side to communicate with us, often seen by those sensitive enough to perceive them, such as psychic mediums? Not a recording, but a conscious being, the spirit of someone that once lived. Should we fear these spirits, or instead take comfort in the knowledge that death may not be the ultimate end of our being? It seems normal for humans to fear the unexplained, the things that we don't understand. And it is possible that the paranormal holds evil as well as good in a similar way to our own world. But how many paranormal related horror stories do we actually hear in our lives? How many of us have actually experienced these things? And suddenly, we realise maybe it's not as bad as the movies after all. Of course, there are stories where people have reported having had some truly terrifying experience, but it's certainly rare that these horror tales occur. So could it be that TV and movies are part responsible for causing many of our fears? After all, even the seemingly real television documentary shows are often only focused on the dark and scary side of the paranormal. If life really was like it is in the movies, wouldn't the world be a truly fascinating place? In each episode of this series, Phantom Force will be teamed up with a different guest related to the paranormal field. It is our hope that these guests will help us find the answers many of us have been looking for, and possibly discover the proof that we are not alone. Along the way, we should take a good look at all areas of this field and the various subjects within it. It's not just about the ghosts. Today, however, we have been brought to Kingsand in Cornwall, where we are very much on the trail of ghosts. We have been invited into this 17th century village, known for its smuggling and fishing past, by the owners of a possible haunted house. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, the nearby city of Plymouth formed the largest market for contraband in Cornwall. Goods were ferried across the harbour into Kingsand and neighbouring village Kingsand, both hotbeds for smuggling. Few revenue men patrolled the virtually uninhabitable rocky coasts around Cornwall, allowing the smugglers to land their cargoes directly onto the shore, which was also made possible by the involvement of all sections of the community, from the landowner downwards. The involvement of the gentry would range from turning a blind eye to full-scale involvement. In just 1 year, 17,000 kegs of spirits had been estimated to have landed in Kingsand and Kingsand. Smuggling tunnels still exist within the villages today, but most are now sealed. Small lanes, sandstone cottages, and an attractive sheltered sand and shingle beach, a place of such beauty. These historical fishing villages are unspoiled by time, retaining their traditional character. Kingsand, along with neighbouring Kingsand, are the frequent winners of the Best Kept Village Award, and are both very popular with tourists. Not the kind of place you'd expect to find a haunted house. Welcome to Mont Morin. To begin an investigation of Mont Morin House, we first need to know what we're dealing with. And to do that, we shall speak with the owners, Alan and Lynn Jones. But before we do, what exactly could we expect? What is a haunting? Upon entering this house, are we likely to be bombarded with spirit activity? Will we see a ghost? Although these things may be possible, in most cases, it is very rare. Reports of hauntings will usually include strange sounds, such as bangs, tappings and voices, moving objects, strange smells, flashes of light, shadows, cold spots. A person may feel like they have been touched. And on those rare occasions, people have reported being witness to disembodied figures, apparitions usually said to be unaware of the human presence, seeming to repeat events from their past lives. But there are also those who have reported actual communication with spirit beings. Any experienced paranormal investigator will tell you that most of these happenings can usually be explained with a logical explanation. But how do you explain a full-blown apparition? Is it all in the mind, or is it indeed the spirit of someone that once lived? Hopefully tonight, we will find the answer. It's time we uncover the mystery of Mont Morin.
surrounding us everywhere. Do not fear.
We dare to scare it.
Supposedly, it was built by Winstanley, who built the Eddystone Lighthouse, but never really been able to find out whether that's true or not. Because this house and next door were originally one big house.
We've tried to sell it, haven't we?
Yeah. In the last minute, everything's
Something-
gone through, and in
yeah,
the last minute, there's been a
something's gone
problem.
wrong and it hadn't
it's
sold.
Lynn's grandfather, it was his house, and we just said
Yeah, and
it's Grandad.
We always say it's Grandad Dunstan.
Yeah.
You know, he left it to me in my lifetime, and here he wants me to stay. I can't honestly say I've ever seen a spirit. I can't say that. I'm not saying if I saw somebody like up close, it wouldn't frighten me, but I'm not scared of what's out there. It's only the living can hurt you, not the dead.
Lynn's cousin spent the night and went to bed, switched off the light, woke up or something during the night and the light was on. She got out of bed, switched it off again. Woke up later in the night. The light was on again. Woke up in the morning and said, "Don't ever ask me to stay in the house anymore." She's basically the only one that's felt anything in this room, because it was just after that we took the bed out and we used it more or less as a storeroom. We couldn't explain that one either, because we had no problem with the electricity at that time.
We had a chap that lived with us, an elderly man. He had the bedroom facing out to sea. He used to love his music, and on Sunday mornings he used to play it really loud. And we had a complaint from one of the neighbours, you know, to ask him to turn his music down. But he always used to say there was a pirate in the bedroom. Sunday mornings, they'd have a drink together and they used to dance all the morning together. He was convinced it was a pirate.
Another lad that lived with us for a time said that he'd been screaming for us all the night because there was something preventing him from getting out of bed.
Or pinned him.
Oh, and pinned him to the bed, and he was that frightened that when he did get up, he wrote his will out and gave us his will and left everything to us.
Well, this is the main passageway to come into the house from the front. The story about this one is very often when I've been in the house on my own, or Linda's been in the house on her own, been down in the kitchen, and aware of somebody walking along the passageway, not necessarily coming in the door, but somebody had that sense of somebody walking along the passageway. Shouted up, you know, who is it? No answer, come up to see, nobody here. And that happens quite regularly.
But I feel safe. Whatever's in here I think isn't bad, it's good. Well, I think it's good anyway. I don't feel afraid in this house at all.
Well, we've got cats, we've had dogs. Apart from sitting down now and again and staring into space, they go all over the house and they don't seem frightened, so obviously if there is anything here, it's not what you call really bad.
Zoe actually knew the owners of Mont Morin, and they had invited her and myself to their house for a bit of a party.
My first impressions of the house at that time were it was absolutely lovely, absolutely huge, kept beautifully, but I mean there was no uneasy feelings. It was, you know, walk in and normal house. I didn't think there'd be any ghostly goings on or, you know, anything like that.
And whilst we were there, Zoe went exploring, and I believe something happened. She was uncomfortable in one of the rooms or something like that.
I went upstairs, and at the top of the landing, I suddenly felt really, really uneasy, and it was almost like something could kind of come towards me, and it rushed towards me. So I looked around, and nobody was there, and I couldn't see anything. So you know, I went downstairs and I told the owner, Alan.
The owners then told us more about the place and stories about some of the things that had happened there.
It was at this point that Alan invited us back to do an investigation on the house to see if we could find out what was going on.
Myself, Zoe and Amy actually done a bit of a recce at the house and some filming, and that was really my first chance to explore the place properly. And for me, it was a case of, it's not really the type of house you would expect to have a haunting. It's down by the beach in the nicest little village, beautiful place. And the house, which was, I think it was about 4 floors, it was brilliant.
There was one room that Amy and I went in, I think, and it was colder than the rest of them.
I picked up on something. One room I walked in and I had a headache almost, it was like a force pushing on my head, which did unnerve me slightly. And there was another room which was just a little bit colder. Everyone gets that sense of something not quite right when they walk in particular rooms. When my feelings were confirmed, when we spoke to the owners and they said these 2 particular rooms are where the activity was, I was pretty chuffed with myself, and I thought, wow, there must be something there.
If I was just a visitor to Mont Morin and knew nothing about the stories and so on, then I probably wouldn't for a second think that the place was haunted. It just goes to show that, you know, in movies and so on, you get these creepy, dark mansions. It doesn't necessarily need to be creepy and dark to have a haunting. After an apparently successful recent attempt to communicate with the afterlife through the use of a Ouija board, we decided upon another go in advance of our upcoming investigation at Mont Morin. Our concern over previous attempts was that contact only seemed to work with Amy present. Her grandfather David, or Pops as we call him, has apparently communicated on 2 occasions. Once during glass divination, and then again during a Ouija board session. On other attempts, not including Amy, we received no communication whatsoever. So what does this mean? The skeptics among us have naturally questioned whether or not this could be due to a subconscious movement of the glass by Amy. Of course, this could indeed be a conscious decision, but with Amy being a trusted part of the team, this is quickly dismissed. So could this then mean that Pops is in some way attached to Amy, and so is only present when she is? But even if this is the case, then surely, as we are led to believe, there are other spirits out there. Yeah, you feel it moving in the centre, but that's just... With extra people involved for this experiment, none of those having had any previous experience with the paranormal, but all eager to take part, we began our attempt at communicating with the other side. And just to prove a point...
Okay, it's Pops here. Can you move the disc on the board?
Unfortunately, we received no communication from Pops. We spent several hours trying to make contact with Spirit, using various methods in order to do so, but received nothing. Then, just as we were beginning to give up hope,
I've gone really cold and shivery. It's moving. It's moving, isn't it?
It's going now, is it?
Very something's happening.
Can you tell us who you are, please?
It looks like it's moving slightly. Can you try and move it a bit faster for us?
the movement of the planchette was extremely slow, and often the spelling made no sense. However, we eventually appeared to receive initials and a personal message for Jim, who, despite being a skeptic, was quite taken aback by the results.
We did a séance around the kitchen table. I had never ever done a séance before, so it was all new skepticism, I think is the word I would use. But there was an event within that I won't say changed my mind, but certainly made me think.
Oh, we're coming off. Oh, it's never coming off.
G? Is it G?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I think that was a J, not a G.
It came up with initials of my father that nobody in that room would have known. That was something that's going to take you back a bit. You know, you're going to actually consider that, you know, perhaps there is something here. I'm not sure whether it's true or false. It's just something that was very, very strange at that particular time. Phantom Force. So no, I think you're great. I think you're doing a good job.
Unfortunately, being only a small and mostly uneventful experiment, the Ouija board session was not filmed for the entire night, so the details of this event were not fully captured. But it had appeared that we had made contact with the spirit of Jim's father. With neither the initials or personal message explained by Jim until afterwards, and nobody having prior knowledge of these details, would it make sense to assume that the experiment was successful? It would certainly appear so, but although impressive, is not proof enough of contact with the other side. Further investigating is still needed before we can be sure. Perhaps our upcoming investigation will reveal the answers we are looking for. In our search for a guest to join us this episode, we have been taken to Plympton in Devon to meet someone who believes that they may have the ability to help us uncover the mystery of Mont Morin.
A phantom, once in a time. My name is Carrington Marshall. I'm a medium and a poet. I discovered mediumship because 7 years ago I went to Italy on holiday with my family. While I was there, I visited someone's apartment, and the people that lived at that apartment had lost their daughter. And she was a lovely Italian girl named Sheila. She passed away supposedly with heart trouble. When I visited that apartment that evening, I was possessed by Sheila for a few hours, and most of the people at the apartment were very shocked. For me, it was extremely exciting, and it was like being born again. And I did facial contortions. When I returned to the UK, Sheila would start giving me messages, and she's always with me now. She loves me and my family, and she's waiting for me when I meet her finally one day. The messages she gives me they're all accurate. Wherever I could find anybody that would hold my hand, I would do readings for them. So after 2 years of doing readings for lots of people, my wife suggested that I advertise myself as a medium, and so it's gone from strength to strength. I find it quite easy now to do readings for several people or just one person, and Sheila will come in, and as my spirit guide, she'll do the reading for me. I am very powerful because I am one of the only people in the world. There must surely be other people like me, but I'm the only person in the UK that's been possessed by such a strong spirit. In her world, I know that Sheila is quite famous herself for having contacted me and knowing me so well. And our link is very, very powerful. So she has given me quite a lot of power. So when I see these programs on TV and things in the paper, I look down on them really as being quite tame. For what I can do a lot of things. I can do magic. I can actually curse. People believe for centuries that witches, wizards, strange people can do spells, curses, and basically it's true. There is a price to pay for messing with the black arts or magic. So you must be quite careful. You must remember God is behind everything and must respect the spirits in the spirit world. My name's Carrington Marshall, and we're here today in Minions, and this is an ancient stone circle, and in ancient times folklore says that these were people and they danced here on a midsummer's eve, and God punished them by turning them into stone. I've got great respect for other mediums, but sometimes you look at them and you're thinking, what are they, they're acting or they're trying too hard. You don't need to try hard at all if you are a medium. And these places, it's so easy to go into a place and look at the local history on it, and you could make up things quite easily about the local history, who died there years ago, who was a ghost. But the public need the real thing. One thing I do know, which spirits have told me, is if you fake mediumship, you are going to pay a price.
When we started the series, Amy was working in a crystal shop, and Carrington was actually one of her customers, and he went in there one day and they got talking, and she told him about Phantom Force, that we were about to make this series, and he became quite interested. And so Amy came back and told us, because at that stage we pretty much just started, we were looking for guests and so on. And I spoke to him on the phone a couple of times, and he seemed very enthusiastic. He sounded quite eccentric. I hadn't seen him. I think I'd probably seen a couple of photos maybe on the internet. But he sounded like a nice enough guy.
He's a very eccentric character. He's very in your face.
Wonderfully enthusiastic personality. He is brilliant at explaining what is going on the afterlife, or what he's picking up.
That is very theatrical. It reminded me of an actor.
When you see him in pictures and so on, he's quite scary looking. Especially when he's got his big black jacket and so on. He's quite intimidating. He's crazy, in a good way, and I don't think he'll mind me saying that. He's a lot of fun.
To have someone with such a large character join the group, I thought it'd be exciting, and for him, I was looking forward to him doing a walk around.
He's a wonderful, wonderful entertainer, and I think he's going to be fantastic for episode 2.
He loves to keep people entertained. He sits and he reads his poems. He gets he's channeled poems.
With the mystic poetry, which I've got into quite heavily now, my lovely poems, these are basically messages from the dead, and I believe that in the other world they do talk in poetry. Less we care, less we stare at all the cracks, old man's hats. Someone's a-ringing bells of imagination, chastisation, civilization. So did ancient house weep, with battered doors, hidden paths, panes of broken glass. Fled playfellows from rusted gates. When night comes a-creeping over Merry Hill, beware the wicked bats, or would it be large red cats? In a grave of ice, we'll play the dice. Pull your hair, fight tooth and nail. Through the wicked mirror glass, your blackened heart to impale. Hear the horses dying in yonder knacker's yard. If they could curse or pay by purse, entry to paradise's fair meadow. So with your spirit phantom, you come to sway and float, and soldiers all about you sink in the moat. I'll chance upon a feeling on some lonely road, batter and break, wish for cake, kill a bear with a stare, and so my soul's a-bleeding. Why, but the battle's lost. You'll awake one morning to face the final cost.
With the help and the power bestowed upon Carrington by his spirit guide Sheila, we hope that tonight's investigation at Mont Morin will prove to be a success. With a history of smuggling, tales of ghost pirates, and with nightfall fast approaching, it would seem that events could become very interesting indeed. Carrington has no prior knowledge of the location or the tale surrounding it. I shall now meet the others at the house as we await his arrival. We dare to scare, but does Carrington Marshall?
On entering this old cottage, I'm immediately picking up 2 children and 1 old man. I felt them as I came along the hallway. I feel that they are here. I feel this cellar area was a sort of play area perhaps for those children. And I believe the old man was their grandfather. And I also believe there were lodgers that people that didn't belong to the family that lived perhaps in the top of this 2-story building. And they worked at sea. I believe they worked at sea. The children, one was blonde and one was dark. There was a death here of a lady approaching middle age. Lovely, lovely, lovely looking face. And she could have been the mother of those children.
Struggling slightly to pick up on the energies on the lower floor, yet sensing already a possible death in the house, Carrington decides to waste no time and moves on to the ground floor.
Yes, I think that they would like me to move on now because I've discovered them. And they're a bit surprised. So we better move on. I feel someone had a little accident in this hallway and they were sort of pulled along by helpers. I think maybe someone they fainted. They fainted here. It could be that lady. And they were pulled along the hall, and I think it was into this room here. I believe they want me to enter now the room. And this was, I believe, this was a bedroom here. It was used as a bedroom, and a bed was here into this corner, and the people laid that woman on here. The children, I can feel they also played here. Get the name of that lady. Karen, and Gemma. And I believe one of those boys was called Todd.
So could the lady said to have died in the house have been the same person who fainted in the hallway? And were the children linked to this woman? Moving to the first floor, would Carrington be able to find the answers?
I can feel the power in this house is in the centre of this house, which I believe is on this floor. And I believe this is where the heart of this house is. And going back to the children, one of those two that I was talking about earlier, one of them nearly drowned. He fell out of a boat, but they saved him. I'm getting David, the name David.
Silently excited at the possibility that Carrington may have sensed Amy's grandfather, we moved into the next room. But our excitement was short-lived.
I believe it's quite a sad story. I believe David was one of those boys that lived here, and it was a long time ago. I'm talking early 30s. 1930, 31. And I believe they grew up together here, and I believe he left home, most probably to work at sea. And he never returned here. And I think, is it David? Is it David? I don't know. David or the Todd one. Using a very ancient African charm, and these are cow's teeth, and they originated in Uganda, and I believe they belong to a witch doctor. The spirits love to have fun and are mischievous, and I believe the sound of this, and they're so old, these cow's teeth, would interest especially those little boys. You see? When I said there were two boys, one went away to sea and died very young at sea. So he could have been in the Navy, and the other one's not telling me how he passed away.
With only 3 rooms left to explore, Carrington feels a rise in energy and a sudden excitement about what is yet to be uncovered at Mont Morin.
Oh yes, there's a chill in this room, the chilliest room in the whole place. It's now obviously a little storeroom, and this is a room that the ghost is coming from. It's a woman, and I think there's a good view from here of the road, main road, and she would sit here in an old chair and look down all day. Sarah, and she was quite psychic as well, like a witch. But nowadays everybody seems to say, hey, I'm a white witch. In reality there's no white, black, purple, green. If you're a witch, you're a witch. I think she obviously knows we're here. She's quite amazed at being found. She could hear the African teeth. That amused her. A strong man, but he wasn't in this room. Is there a room adjoining this? Is there another room? A strong man who worked with his hands, and he enjoyed his drink. He was a devil for the drink, as they say. And his name is Bill. He's angry because he hasn't had a drink in a very long time. He's mostly in one of those other rooms, but we'll have to go in there now. Shall we go and find him?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we'll find him. Now we're getting somewhere. We'll get the light on in here. Right. Okay, well this wasn't Bill's room. This was a lady, the owner of the house, lady. And I can feel laughter here. On a sad note, I'm going to sit down a minute. On a sad note, oh yeah, and a child I think died in this room. It was a he, and it could have been a little baby because a lady rocked him. I think I like to leave the room now because it's very private. It doesn't want us to come in. So in situations like this, I go in like an elephant in a tea shop. So let's get in here.
And so we are brought to the final room, where Carrington feels he may have found the energy that has troubled him since the start of his walk-around. An angry spirit by the name of Bill.
Bill. So this was his he used to smoke a lot in here. And it feels like I'm going downhill. I don't know what you... From here, I'm going down. You know? So it's really, oh yeah. Of all the rooms in this house, this room... And now he's trying to stop me saying it. Oh. Yeah, he was a brute of a man. I'm going to tell him, Bill. You can't stop me telling him. Okay, I am Carrington, and you can't worry me. No, don't push me. You can't worry me. He treated women really bad. Yeah, you did. You don't like it, do you now? You don't like it. You treated women badly, and you drank. Yeah, what's it feel like now to be bullied like you did, people? Yeah, yeah. You wait for me. I'll be ready to meet you. Yeah, get out. I can get you out of here. I can bring my friends and get you out. So don't bully me. And the people in this house. All right, you respect the people in this house. All right, and if they call me back, I will come back. Get back out of it. Does that feel? How does that feel, Bill? Yeah. He sat here, you know, after he died, he would sit here and brood, and would cause people to argue in this house. He would follow them around this house, and he would cause them to argue. You see. And there has been, you know, divorce and things like that here because of him. He slowly works on people's minds, slowly, and they never knew he was here. He's excited, and I've put him out a bit, you see. He's tried to bully us when we came in here. So I pushed him back, he didn't like that. And bullies don't last very long if you stand up to them, and especially a spirit bully like this. And I've threatened to get him out of here, and if the owner consents, we can shift him on, we can get him to move on. It's time to get out, come on. You know, you can go now. And I don't want to attempt to push him too much, because I'd probably end up being here for that many hours. I'd need perhaps one of my spiritual friends to come in and blast him out of here.
With Carrington convinced of Bill's presence, the rest of us are left in wonder at what could be in store for us once the lights go out. Would we encounter this angry spirit? Is it possible he could be the pirate reported to have sat sharing a drink and dance with one of Mont Morin's many guests? After a quick break, we switch cameras to night vision and move back to the top floor alongside the owners and returning guest investigator Linda Mumford in an attempt to make some form of contact with the spirit called Bill.
Bill's still here, and I would like one of the girls, please, perhaps Zoe, to stand next to me.
Okay. You like to do that?
Please. Because you are, this is where he's sort of standing right now. Lean back to the wall. Well, he's here with us now, and he's very bemused and really. Before he was very angry. Now he's the anger. Now he's scared now.
Right.
Because he thinks we're gonna throw him out of here. And all the years he's been here, he's not ever had anything like this happen. So he's stopped all the bullying, stopped all the pushing, and now he's scared.
Oh, freezing.
Where are you cold at the minute? All over? Okay.
He's been joined now by a friend of his.
Yeah.
And the other chap is an equally nasty character.
Yeah.
And he is a thief. And they're very their presence now is extremely heavy in this room. Can you feel an atmosphere here?
So is it
No,
kind
I'm fine in here.
You're fine?
Is the other guy kind of like back up then or something? Or?
It seems he's called him and he's saying, "Help, Mark. You know, you must help me with this. I'm not used to this." So Bill has been in this corner all this time. You're sort of standing right by him. And Mark, he came in the room, and I think he's over there somewhere now. He's over there with you, over that corner.
Lynn, can we swap, please? Because I'm not getting anything from
Yes,
Mr. Guy
I'll
over
go over
here.
there a bit.
I did when I first walked into the room, but there's nothing over there.
Feel over here. My bottom of my legs are freezing.
See, I'm getting really to the spot here. It's like, oh, it's heavy, it's heavy.
Okay, well, I'll call out and see if we get anything. Okay, if there are any spirit people here, if there's a man here called Bill, could you please come forward and make a sound for us? Can you let us know that you're here? Is it you that's making somebody go cold in this room? If it is, can you do it to somebody else, please?
Yeah, my legs are freezing.
Yeah.
It is working, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is,
No, I'm alright now.
Okay. Can you pass that on to somebody else? Can you do that to me? Can you make me go cold?
Bill, why don't you show how big a bully you are, how tough you are, Bill. You know, make a noise, come on.
Did you hear that tapping behind me? Was that you?
No.
There's a tapping on this wall.
Okay, if everyone just be quiet for a second.
Can you hear it? Yes.
Okay, Bill, if that's you making the tapping sound, can you please do it a bit louder for us? Or whoever is making the tapping sound.
There's a big one. I think it's more of a thing.
I can't hear nothing.
It's right behind me. See, that's weird because I'm hearing it over here as well.
Mhm.
Is that just all around?
I feel it's like here.
It's not the boards or anything, is that right?
No, because everybody's still.
It's quite muffled, but it's definitely there.
Beware, girls and ladies here, because they're going to scare one of you. Okay, they're watching you really strong.
Okay. Okay, so the man that's here, you don't like women, is that correct? If that's correct, please make another sound for us.
I heard
Can you
something
hear
there,
it?
yeah.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, I heard that.
Where is that coming from?
I can hear it here, but that time it was over there.
I can hear it over here now. Okay, the person that's in the room with us, if you can come closer to myself, and please make a sound near to me. Make a tap or a bang near to me. Is it only women that you pick on?
they've left me, that Bill has left me alone now because he knows I've got a tremendous spirit guide that he doesn't want to tangle with. And they're staring at the women. I'm getting the message, just please leave us alone. They're now, from being bullied and angry, they've now turned into victims. They put the act on now. You see, they got many masks, these people, they're many masks.
With some of the group seemingly convinced of some form of presence in the room, the more sceptical among us were not yet convinced. The tapping sounds heard could well be due to the amount of people crammed into a small and rarely used space, causing the room to creak and groan, with the idea of two angry spirits present causing the group to immediately associate the sounds to them. Sounds that would no doubt have otherwise gone unnoticed. Moving on, Carrington discusses with the owners his earlier walkaround in the hope that they can shed some light on his findings.
I felt in the hallway as you came in the front door, did a lady fall over and was pulled along? Did she faint there? In your time
Well,
that you've been here?
yeah, could well have been, not being funny.
You're smiling there.
Yes. You don't have to tell us now if you don't
Somebody
want
has
to.
fainted, yes. Has flaked out there then, yeah.
Okay. And did they carry her into the back room?
No, it wasn't in the back room.
But
carried into another room.
You carried her into another room.
Into another room, but it wasn't the back room.
And she fainted because she'd had an illness that was getting worse and worse, and it came to a sort of head, I think, here.
Certainly due to something being not right, yes.
They didn't realise how bad it was till after she fainted.
Well, yeah.
It's still ongoing.
Yeah.
So, oh, right.
Yeah.
Would that be yourself?
Yeah.
Oh right. And it was a bit of a shock to you at the time, obviously.
It was a shock to me.
Yes. So I'm glad you're all right.
Yeah.
You made me a cup of tea this evening. So.
You can have as many as you want.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Well, they're in that room talking about us now. Okay. They're really relieved that we've left, and they're trying to think their next game plan, what they're going to do.
All right.
And the trouble is, you see, Bill was thrown out of that pub. I think he was barred from that pub many years ago, and he never went back. And he can't go back in there. He was barred, and his spirit is not allowed to go back in. So his friend Mark, if that was his name, it was the landlord's son. You see, and they're both bad lads together. Yeah. But Bill can't go back over there.
It's just amazing what you're saying, really.
Really? Does that mean something?
It means something, yeah.
Oh, right.
They both make sense, apart from the Bill one. That would mean another name to me.
Okay.
Who lived here.
But don't tell us the name yet.
No, but the Mark, yes. Because there was a landlord and landlady who had a son called Mark. And it was all around the same time.
That you had your drunk lodger at the back. But he wasn't called Bill.
No.
Maybe he had a middle name or something.
He was lovely, really, though, Alan, wasn't
he? Yeah.
I believe a captain has visited here. A captain.
That could have been before our time.
Yeah. I'm getting angry words in the back room, the two men again, and they are very angry with me because what I did, I threw the teeth onto the bed, the charms, and they are really angry now that those charms are in there. So, who would like to go and collect the charms from the bed?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, lovely. We've got a volunteer. Right, good fortune, good fortune.
Oh, well done.
Oh, sorry, darling.
Oh, I don't like that now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going back to
Yeah.
I knew it.
It was almost like a lot of energy was coming at me and not in a positive way at all. And I wanted to grab these and just run out the room.
But I just feel, because it's weighing me down again now, I feel that in this room, I think it's a boy that they lost. I'm getting a message, hello mum, I'm here.
It was time to attempt communication with the spirits. Having had seemingly successful results on our previous Ouija board experiment, we were quite excited to try again. With the owners eager to participate and given their permission, we gathered in the dining area, having already protected the group at the start of the investigation.
If you think at any time anyone's pushing it, then just say so. So obviously we want to prove that what's happening is real. You'll probably find when you put your fingers on the disc, when it's in the centre, it will move around a little bit. So if it's moving around in the centre, that's probably going to be you, like your hands.
Do we just put a finger on it?
Yep, just.
Only the Phantom Force crew had any knowledge of our possible contact with Amy's grandfather Pops from previous investigations. And with Amy now present, we're interested to see if tonight he would make an appearance. Carrington, having never experienced a Ouija board before, seemed quite unprepared for what was to come.
If there are any spirit people in this place, now's your chance to come forward and communicate with us. Please come forward to the table and move the disc. There we go already.
An immediate result. It seemed that the spirit of Mont Morin was ready to talk with us. Until after 10 minutes of confusion as to the identity of the spirit, we realised that we were in fact speaking to an old friend.
My finger's just lightly touching it.
Is that Pops? Yeah, okay, it's Pops. Right, I'm going to explain this to those that don't know. A few times we've done this, we've had Amy's granddad come through with Pops. We know him as Pops, and his first name is David. Okay, and we've actually asked him through using the board if he will help us on investigations, which I know sounds a bit crazy, but I didn't want to tell you until you saw it for yourself.
Could I ask him something?
Yeah, sure.
Pops, this is Carrington, and I'm your friend. Would you like to say hello? Would you like to say hello to Sheila? She's my lovely guide. Pops, please, could you please tell me, it's really important to me, is she with you now? Is she with you? Okay.
That's a nice note.
Pops, are you aware of Sheila? Do you know who Carrie's talking about? No. He has people with him. Can you sense those people? Okay. Can you move back to the centre, please? Can you now see those people? Are you able to communicate with those people that are with Carrington? Are you not sure? Are you unsure? Can you tell us how many spirit people are in this house that you know of? 5. Is there a man called Bill here? Is there an aggressive man on the upper floor? Yeah. Has Carrington picked up on any of the spirits that you know of to be here? Yeah. Okay.
Can you call Sheila and get Sheila? Will she come to the table?
No.
I'm asking you, would you please call Sheila, because she's always with me. Is she there? Can't you see her?
Is Sheila here, Pops?
Pops, is there some other spirits that know me, that know Carrington? Are they with you at all? Pops, is there a spirit of a baby that passed away in this house? Is there a spirit of a little baby? No. Oh, okay.
Did a baby die in this house, Pops?
passed on then.
With the group made aware that any spirits contacting through the board may not be who they claim, assuming of course that the spirits actually exist and that it isn't just a subconscious movement within the group, Alan and Lynn request the presence of past family members.
D.
Give us the next letter, please.
U. N. S. T. Next letter. O. I know that one. Next letter. N. What's that?
Dunstan.
Is that the name you said? That's what you said, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah. Is that Lynn's dad?
Have you got any code words or anything that you used to use?
Any words that only you would know? Anything that any of us around the table wouldn't know, but they would?
Dad, can you spell out the name of the dog I had when I was a little girl?
Your F.
It's in between. D. Next letter. N-O-P. That's a Q actually.
Oh. Dad, I think you're taking a minute. Without joking, please, Dad, this time. Is there anything you want to say?
D. A. D.
So had Lynn been talking with the spirit of her father? Earlier, during the walk-around, Carrington appeared to pick up on a female spirit also associated with Lynn.
Well, an old lady in her 80s, and a letter D, and she was dead against drink. She didn't like people drinking. So, does that mean anything, Linda?
Yeah, quite a lot. You've got an initial right, and
Oh, right.
you said an old lady with a letter D.
Yeah.
Well, my grandma was called Dunstan, was her surname.
Oh, right.
And she was in her 80s when she died.
Ah.
With the name Dunstan having been mentioned by Lynn during the walk-around, could it be possible that someone within the group had subconsciously spelt out through the Ouija board the same name, stored in their minds from earlier that evening? Or could it be that we were in fact communicating with one of Lynn's relatives?
It's worth mentioning at this stage that the name Dunstan that was picked up on the board was Lynn's maiden name. It was obviously her father's surname. The problem is the spelling of the name on the board was different to the actual spelling. Now, the question we got to ask here is, why would Lynn's father not know how to spell his own surname? The last time you was with us, you helped to tap on the table. Can you remember? So you know what I'm going to ask you now, don't you?
Having had impressive results on a previous experiment in which Pops appeared to tap on a table, we decided to try again on a much heavier table.
Okay, Pops, whenever you're ready, can you tap on the table for us?
Yeah, I heard one.
Can you tap twice for us, as loud as you possibly can?
Unfortunately, despite sitting in silence for some time, we received only one tap. Was this almost immediate response caused by Pops, or was it purely a coincidental sound with a much more logical explanation? With Lee, the skeptic among us, replacing Carrington on the Ouija board, we continued our conversation with Pops, and were all shocked as to what came next.
Hoax. Hoax.
What does that mean?
What was a hoax?
Oh goodness.
What's a hoax, Pops?
But it was
It's my initials, Carrington Marshall.
Is it?
Is Carrington a hoax? Is that what you mean?
Oh, I'm doing a circle.
I think that's someone else now.
Good. This one's strong.
Who are you? Spell your name out. Ah. Are you naughty?
See, that's the one that's got it against
Got
me.
a bad one.
Are you a relative of anyone that lives in this house?
No.
Did you live in this house before these people?
Yeah.
Are you lonely and would you like a friend? Would you like a friend?
Are you nasty?
You will now answer me. Do you know of a spirit called Sheila that has protected me?
No.
Are you scared of me, Carrington? Are you scared of Carrington? Answer me now.
No.
You're not telling the truth. Tell the truth now. Are you scared of me? Oh.
The spirit that was now communicating through the Ouija board had appeared to take a particular dislike towards Carrington, and despite continuing attempts, was refusing to reveal its identity.
I'm actually shivering.
Are you an extremely strong spirit?
I'm really
Answer
cold.
me now. Are you a powerful spirit?
Have you appeared to anyone in this house before?
You are a little boy, aren't you?
No. There's definitely no.
Are you scared of me? Are you scared of me?
Alright.
If Lee and Carrington went up to that room, would that be okay? I can channel any bad vibes, okay? Carrington will take all bad vibes. Will you cause me harm? I'm Carrington. Will you cause me harm? Think about it, because you know what I can do to you. Answer me.
I don't think he likes you, because he constantly does that.
I am going to that room in a moment, alright? Are you pleased with that? Are you pleased that I'm going to that room?
No.
I am going there, so get ready, okay? Are you coming with me to that room? Are you coming with me to that room?
He's spelling
Oh, I wonder what
I know what he's going to say.
Oh, he is. He is.
You. See?
Oh, you can spell now.
No, K. Oh.
No.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Keep going, because when I get to that room, I'm going to get you in that room. I'm going to take you out of here and you're going to come with me.
I'm not again.
You're angry with Carrington, aren't you?
Yes.
Show us. Show us now how angry you are. We don't believe you.
They're really warm. Anyway.
You are not a nice person, and no, you're not a nice spirit. Do you understand? G, is that G?
E.
It's not a T, is it?
T.
No.
What's he done?
Yeah, here we go.
He's
Yeah.
spelling out get fucked.
It's time that you decided to be a nice spirit. Be nice for me. I am a nice man and I will help you. Be nice for me. Would you like to be my friend?
I'm really cold.
Okay, I'll look for them.
With the spirit becoming more aggressive, Carrington decides to confront it in the upper bedroom, with Lee also joining him.
Is anyone worried about me?
Yeah. Somebody loves you.
As Carrington and Lee head for the top floor, the rest of the team decide to take a break. But their eagerness to carry on results in an almost immediate continuation with the Ouija board.
So now that Lee and Carrington are at the top room, you're not going to do anything? You are scared of Carrington?
No.
Okay, well go on. He's gone up there to confront you. Go upstairs and confront him.
Oh, heavy. In that corner. It's very heavy. Now, you in this room, okay? You dislike me because I bullied you and you're not a nice person. Alright? Come on then. What are you going to do now to me? I'm in your room.
There's a noise coming from this far bedroom over there. Sounded like rustling of paper or something.
Are you going to go up there? He's on his way.
Are you running from me?
We got a rustling of paper up here somewhere.
Rustling of paper.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's still there.
Okay, he's just left.
You know I can cast you out of this house, don't you? And you're hiding from me.
Pops, can you come forward now, please?
Yeah, he's here.
Pops, is this the man you were trying to warn us about?
Yeah.
Is he going to harm Carrington? You're not sure?
No.
I'm going to stand in your favourite spot. That spot that you watch women in. You watch women in this spot, don't you? The people that have slept in this room. I've got your spot.
Listen, Pops.
Stranger.
Is this you from the top room again? Have you gone to see Carrington yet?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Did you rustle some paper?
Well, that was very macho of you.
Tell them how unhappy you are about this spot. Do something downstairs with the board to show them how unhappy you are that I'm in your spot.
Look at him.
He's really angry now.
Yes.
Are you really angry?
Oh, this is weird.
Are you really, really angry? Who are you angry with?
Why are you angry with me?
Why are you angry with
Oh
Amy?
my god. That moved on its own then.
Why are you angry with Amy?
Because she's a woman. Well, I'm not.
Are you angry with Chris?
Can he do something to the board?
Can he?
What does that mean?
Make a circle or something.
Then I will leave the room.
He's doing it.
He's doing it now.
He's doing it now.
He's doing it now.
God, he's gone mad.
I want 5 circles and then I will leave this room. 5 circles.
He wants 5 circles and he'll leave the room.
He wants 5 circles and he'll leave the room.
If you do 5 circles, he'll leave the room up there.
You don't.
He's still here.
Demand, right, that he show himself or make a sign that we will never forget, or I will leave these African voodoo beads in the room and that will punish him. I am now putting him on the bed in this room, and if he doesn't show himself or make a real clear sign, I will leave them here. And he can live with his African voodoo.
Do I remind you of someone?
You just don't like Amy. Is that correct?
No. It's just a challenge.
Do you like Amy?
Yeah.
A bit too much. You like Amy a bit too much.
I feel very uncomfortable right now.
We are leaving the beads, and now we're going to go downstairs, and then we've left the beads. He must do something or we'll leave them there. And by beads I mean the teeth. Those are teeth of dead animals, and we've left them in that room, and they are very powerful magic. So you must show yourself to us.
Move back to the centre. If you want to show your anger, go to the room upstairs.
And do a lot of banging.
I'll stay up here.
Bloody hell, bells.
He's going nuts down there.
He's going nuts. Well, I've threatened him, and I asked him to do 5 circles.
No, he didn't. He's not.
Okay.
He's not interested.
Right. Well, ask him if he wants the beads out of the room. If he wants the teeth out of the room.
He doesn't want the teeth, he wants something else.
He wants Amy.
Alright, I'm pretty scared. Even though I know there's nothing here.
I got your friend back with us.
Jesus.
No, not Amy.
I'm back. I am back. Are you happy with this? That I am back here. Right. If you dislike me so much, push this counter off now. Push it off. Go on to prove how much you dislike me.
Freezing.
I feel like I really want to cry. I feel
Those
really
beads.
emotional.
I am not going to let you get close to Amy. Now those teeth that I've left in your room, do you want them to stay there, yes or no?
He doesn't care.
He does. Where's that going? What's that? Yes. He wants them to stay there.
He doesn't care.
He
We
doesn't-
was asking him just now. He doesn't
Okay.
care.
The fuck was that?
Are you some sort of pervert?
How long do you want me to stay up here? Easy for you to say, you're not being yank.
You'll be alright. We dare to scare.
Just to prove how powerful you are, can you do something in the room that Lee's in, please?
Okay, get ready for it. I think Carrington's coming.
Look there. Right. They're asking him, because he's very angry, to do something in the actual room. But his presence is down in the basement, you see. And he doesn't care about the animal teeth in the least. And I've asked him twice to show his dislike for me by pushing the counter off the Ouija board, which he has done. So now I'm getting very fed up with him.
Are you a bully?
Are you a bully? Do you bully men?
Why? Because you're a wimp. Yes, you are.
No.
You're a pirate captain.
Go to the middle.
And what was your name? Spell your name.
And we will wait here a bit longer now.
Okay, DA.
F.
Yeah, I was going to say. Captain Daft, eh? Oh, well, I think you're Daft.
Well, you said it. You said that was your name, Daft.
Captain Daft.
If that is not your name, spell your proper name.
Here we go, you.
Yeah.
Captain Daft.
Is it the same, is it? F-U-C-T?
C. K.
So obviously that's the only word that you can spell.
No.
Please go and scare them.
Okay, move away from the table, go upstairs and do something in the room with Lee and Carrington. Can you do that? And we'll stop calling you Daft. Can you do that?
He's gone.
Unless you're gone.
Right, everyone just take your hands off me. Sorry. Okay, I think he's coming.
He's coming.
He's pretty pissed.
Wonderful.
What did he say?
Wonderful.
You see, this spirit really dislikes me because of my mediumship and my senses with the spirit world. He literally hates me. He told me he would be waiting for me in the other world when I get up there, but it doesn't bother me.
Right at the top.
Okay, we're up in the room now. Captain Daft, come and do something. I'm shaking like mad, I'm freezing.
See if he wants to move the bed.
Are you with the men?
No, he's here.
You see, his favourite spot is this corner, right? And over the years, he's watched women from this corner as they've slept.
Yeah.
See? And he doesn't like it. That's when I first came in the room 2 or 3 hours ago. And I came here and he was very upset. And then I spotted him. He was standing here and I pushed him and he tried to push me, threatened me.
Well, why haven't you gone then?
Because I'm down here.
What they say?
If I go upstairs, are you going to do something? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Are you going to do anything horrible?
Hello?
Okay, me, Lee and Carrington are going to stay up here, but can Amy come up here with us?
How did he know that?
He's just...
Yeah, sure.
You alright going up on your own or you want me to
No,
walk you
no,
up?
I'm not going up on my own.
Come on then, I'll walk you up and then I'll come back down.
We'll just listen for your screams, darling.
The aggressive spirit, who claims to be a pirate captain, seemed to have a particular interest in Amy. So Carrington suggested that she join us in the top bedroom, where he believed the spirit would then follow. Due to events about to unfold, we have increased parts of the sound in the following scene.
Okay, have you still got him?
No.
There you go. If you're here, you're going to have to do something, apart from making us feel cold. Bang. Make a bang. I'm going to leave the room and I'm going to take Amy with me unless you do something. I don't know if it's underneath my foot, but I don't know if there's a floorboard or he's actually banging. Hang on. Well, it's not doing it if I move my foot. Is that you making the tapping? Is that you making the tapping noise? Yeah, I can feel it underneath my feet, but if I move my foot, it's not doing anything.
I'm beginning to sense that there's more than Minnie now. There's more, not just him. That's why it's getting colder.
Are you here? You're going to have to give us a sign that you're here. What is that? It's like someone's walking on the floorboards. Your feet completely still?
Yeah. Right on my feet.
Yeah. If that's you, do it twice. You hear that? We're not moving our feet. Okay. 2 taps for no, 1 tap for yes. Do you want the men to leave this room? Do you want Amy to stay in this room? That was a very loud one. So you... I haven't finished.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it?
This is crazy. It's right underneath our feet.
Mm.
And we're completely still. So, you like Amy, is that correct? How much do you like Amy? I know that's not a yes or no. Tap as loud as you can for how much you like Amy. Is that it? Do you like Carrington? What's that? Yeah.
That was 2 taps, wasn't it?
Do you like Carrington? No.
It's right under my feet.
Yeah.
Would you like to stand in the corner a minute, Amy?
I want to know if he's still there or if he's gone.
Do you like Amy stood in that corner? Do you like Amy stood in that corner? Would you like us to leave the room now? Would you like us to leave Amy in the corner?
It's by me now. It's over here.
What's over by you?
It's near, I heard it next to you.
You're still here, are you? Captain Daft. We continued our attempts to contact the spirit, but receiving no further activity, we decided to leave the top floor and rejoin the rest of the team in the basement. So could the spirit be the same angry soul that Carrington believes resides in the bedroom? And could it also be the same pirate spirit reported by Alan and Lynn? We agreed to attempt communication through the Ouija board one last time to see if we could find the answers.
Has Carrington got a spirit guide?
You're getting a lot of no's tonight, Carrington.
I know. Are you there to speak to me? Are you there to speak to me, Carrington? Are you there for me? Can I ask if my spirit guide is out there? Please answer.
Are you still there? Gone.
Unfortunately, we've received no further communication. Overall, a good investigation. Some interesting tapping sounds which we couldn't explain. We had apparently good results on the Ouija board. If what we called was spirit, then definitely that was a fantastic experiment.
I enjoyed spending time with a lot of the people there. I enjoyed meeting Carrington. I think he's a wonderful personality, and he's quite a harmless character.
For me, I enjoyed the evening and it was a good investigation.
Mont Morin for me was very interesting. The cold spots, the knocking, the eeriness within certain rooms compared to others. The board was definitely interesting.
It was my first real in-depth spirit search, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very intense, some parts of it, especially with the Ouija board.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I thought it was very good.
I thought it was excellent.
It opened my eyes a little bit. I must admit, before I didn't know whether I thought it was a load of old, rubbish, but yeah, it surprised me.
Whilst we were setting up for filming, Carrington came up to me and he was talking, I think it was to me and Lee, and he was saying about how he can curse people. All he has to do is point at them with his finger and he can curse them just by pointing at them.
Well, I didn't believe that to start with, really, anyone cursing someone with their finger. But obviously he believes it. I thought really that was a lot of old rubbish.
I've worked with lots of mediums over the years and I've never heard anything like this before. And so he's telling me this story and I didn't know whether to believe him or not. I don't know if he was joking or if he's telling the truth. But yeah, it was kind of a case of, he's standing there doing this. He's like, hey, which way you pointing that thing?
His voodoo beads, which he'd brought along with him, which was meant to scare the ghosts, was more like a prop.
I think that's more psychological than anything, but it did work on me. I'm open to the power of suggestion. I can't, I've got to admit to that part. Because then I was kind of got a bit brave and I went into the room that he'd put the beads in and they were on the bed, and I completely scared myself because it was a pitch dark room, and I picked up these beads and I freaked myself out for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, I don't like that now.
So no, I think they are a wonderful accessory to Carrington and they work very well for him.
To me, voodoo beads are pure fantasy, something out of a kid's book. How can cow's teeth possibly ward off evil spirits?
No, I don't think the beads have the power to ward off any spirits whatsoever. I think it's all, again, just either positive or negative thinking, depending on the person. I think Carrington believes that they do, so if they work for him, then that's good.
Well, the walk around was interesting. He did seem to pick up on various bits and pieces that later on, when we done the second walk around with the owners, they confirmed that a lot of the stuff that he'd come up with was true. There's no way he could have known any of this stuff beforehand. There's nothing in the house that gives things away or anything like that. And as it was, aside from a few bits and pieces that we were told during some interviews that we'd filmed before the actual investigation, there was a lot of stuff they kept to themselves, which I said to them, keep to yourselves. And Carrington seemed to pick up on some of that. There were a lot of things that he got that seemed unrelated as far as the owners were concerned. But there were other things that he got where maybe he got part of a story, maybe a name was wrong, but the other part was right, or something like that.
They both make sense, apart from the Bill one. That would mean another name to me.
Okay.
Who lived here.
But don't tell us the name yet.
No, but the Mark, yes. Because there was a landlord and landlady who had a son called Mark.
I guess you could kind of look at it from a sceptical point of view that, the owners, perhaps they got a name, but the story behind it wasn't right. Perhaps he got the character wrong or something. So you could associate certain things that he said with things that had happened. Well, when we got to the top room, that's where things got a little bit crazy. I have seen some strange things over the years. I've never seen a medium fight with a spirit before.
You wait for me. I'll be ready to meet you. Get out. I can get you out of here. I can bring my friends and get you out. So don't bully me.
What an actor. I just thought he was merely playing to an audience. But right, here we go. I have a little fight, but nothing really happened.
I remember whilst we were filming, I think it was myself, Lee and Amy filming this, and I remember kind of glancing at both of them, and they were both like, you know, what's going on?
From our point of view, it was just Carrington versus a wall.
I find it quite bizarre that he had a really extreme experience when the rest of us were just very calm in the house.
There had been some doubt flying around over the whole thing with Pops, in that Pops wouldn't turn up if Amy wasn't there, but if Amy was there, Pops was guaranteed to be there. And we put this to the test for this episode. We went back to a previous location where we had successful results with the Ouija board. And what happened the first time when Amy was there, Pops came through. So we went back, done it again, and this time, nothing. We did, however, get something through, which was the first time that we had anything through that wasn't Pops. Then we went to Mont Morin, and obviously Amy was back with us, and immediately Pops come through.
We came to Mont Morin, and it was all about her again.
It's a case of, you know, because we got something on the investigation before, does this now mean that maybe the theory was right? Pops, because he's somehow attached, you know, probably his family, to Amy, maybe he does only come when Amy's there. Obviously, we'll have to do further investigating to figure this one out.
Pops was always very protective of me. I think he feels if he ever left me for just 5 minutes, something would happen. I mean, I feel that he has watched over me the whole time, but now we're actually in touch. I think he finds the need to be there with me all the time.
Well, then we had the pirate captain that came through on the board.
Who immediately targeted Amy.
Knowing that something was hanging around me in particular was, again, unsettling. And him coming through on the board and saying the things he was, it wasn't very nice.
This kind of tied in with one of the stories that Alan, the owner, had told us about something that happened in the house, where one of the visitors to the house had seen a pirate, a spirit of a pirate. However, it was explained that this man was often drunk. So, you know, it could well be that he was seeing spirits through the alcohol. When the board spelt out hoax, it was just like a moment of shock. What is going on?
Hoax.
What was that?
What was a hoax?
And then it spelt out Carrington's initials.
I wasn't too sure who was spelling it, whether it was the captain or whether it was Pops. I'm still not sure who spelt it, but they were definitely trying to tell us something.
I thought that that was a very personal attack on Carrington, and I thought that if Pops was there and he was as good as man as Amy has said, that he would have been a little bit more diplomatic in his approach. I don't quite understand why a spirit would have been completely and utterly that rude to him.
Could be that it was trying to make us think that Carrington was a hoax. On the other hand, it could have been a spirit that was genuinely trying to tell us that Carrington was a hoax. Obviously, I hope not. On the other hand, it could also have been people around the board subconsciously pushing this thing. Although I'd be quite interested to see who it would have been trying to claim that Carrington was a hoax.
Well, I'm pretty sceptical. So when it comes down to this and I see that thing moving, I never fully believe that a spirit is helping it move. There are possibly 4 or 5 other people on that thing that could be making it move at the same time. So when it's moving, I'm not blown over by it.
It would defeat the whole point of what we're trying to do if someone was pushing. Carrington, this was the first time he'd ever used a Ouija board before. He wasn't on it the whole night. And obviously the owners, I don't think they had any experience with a Ouija board before either. And I'd be surprised if they were pushing it. Obviously they had asked us to go there to try and figure things out for them. But the captain had trouble spelling. And we asked him his name and it came up with the word daft. So I couldn't resist. I wouldn't usually wind up spirits and so on, but on this occasion he was being quite rude, swearing on the board and so on. So I called him Captain Daft, and he didn't like that very much.
Captain Daft, eh? Oh, well, I think you're Daft.
Well, you said it. You said that was your name, Daft.
Captain Daft.
If that is not your name,
spell your proper name.
Assuming the pirate captain was from a couple of centuries back, would he have known the swear words that were coming out of the board?
Or if they even had swear words like the words that were coming through at the time. This Ouija board session made Carrington feel very vulnerable and perhaps a little insecure about himself, as he kept on asking the board, or the spirit that was meant to be communicating through the board, if they could see his spirit guide or if his spirit guide was with them.
Can you call Sheila and get Sheila? Will she come to the table?
No.
I'm asking you, would you please call Sheila, because she's always with me.
The guide wasn't having any of it, but he just kept on and on and on with it. And to me, it just seemed a little desperate.
Carrington, as a medium, possibly would have, or should have, known that Sheila was with him and shouldn't have actually had to ask for any clarification on the matter.
Why would a medium be asking questions of the board? Surely he would know whether or not there's anything in the room.
Is she there? Can't you see her?
Whilst filming, I caught Lee smirking quite a few times. He's quite a big sceptic. I mean, I think he's someone that would like to think that these things exist, but probably out of all of us, he's more on the sceptical side.
But he just has these amusing little faces that he pulls, which sometimes you just have to lower your head, because I want to laugh myself then after he's done that.
Obviously he takes it seriously. He listens to what's said, and he treats the investigation seriously. He wants to know the answers as well as we do.
But as a skeptic, he can't help himself from laughing or pulling faces, which I think is really good for us.
But saying that, you stick him on his own to do a lone vigil, as with Mont Morin, and he's terrified.
He does get really, really scared, and especially as he's a skeptic, that's quite an interesting thing to see.
Alright, I'm pretty scared. Even though I know there's nothing here.
He's a big sceptic, but he's also a big scaredy cat.
And also, it's really good for me to learn from him as well. If he's laughing at something, then it makes me question it a little bit more. So I quite like that part of him.
I am quite sceptical about this stuff, but I would love to see something happen, and that's the reason why I'm doing this. Bloody hell, bells.
Captain Daft made a few suggestions.
You like Amy a bit too much?
I feel very uncomfortable right now. I did go very, very, very cold. My teeth were chattering and I was shivering.
God, strong spirit.
I'm really, really
Answer
cold.
me now.
Well, there was a part of the night during the Ouija board session where I was stood at the back of the table, I think it was, and all of a sudden I just went icy cold. Now, this has never happened to me, ever. I've heard people say it before, and I often think, okay, well, it's probably in your mind, or, there's a cold wind blowing, or whatever. On this occasion, I actually felt icy cold inside me, in a room that was actually quite hot. I couldn't explain that. We later went to the top room, and I was freezing.
I'm shaking like mad, I'm freezing.
Very strange feeling when you're feeling freezing cold and literally shaking, but at the same time you can feel the heat of the room. The floorboards in the bedroom was probably the highlight for me of that night. We were sat in the room, Lee, Carrington, Amy and myself. Me and Amy were sat on the windowsill, and we were getting this tapping noise underneath. It seemed to be coming from underneath our feet.
Do you want Amy to stay in this room? That was a very loud one.
And it was a definite tap. It wasn't a creak. And it was continuous as well. Whereas when someone steps on the floorboard and it creaks, it'll creak for a little bit and then it'll stop. Whereas the taps were definite, distinct taps.
It did sound, it was under the floorboards, but everyone seemed to be experiencing it. Chris under his feet. I thought I heard it behind me, so it seemed to be everywhere. Possibly, could be. There might have been something there that was making that tapping noise. I think if someone had been tapping something, it would have been more one-sided. Oh yes, I can hear it in that corner. But I don't know. Everyone seemed to be hearing it all over the place.
Now there was no one in the room on the floor below. It was just the four of us. The floorboards, they don't creak in that room. They don't make that noise. And we went back and we actually experimented where we placed Lee back where he was, I was back where I was, Zoe sat in for Amy, and Alan stood in for Carrington. And we actually sat there, stood there trying to recreate what happened that night to see if we could actually make it happen. Yeah, we never actually figured out what it was. We couldn't recreate that. What I felt whilst I was sat there was it was almost like the floorboards were popping. It's the only way I can describe it. It was kind of like they were, I don't know, popping beneath my feet, and I could feel it beneath my feet.
Once, twice, and then I was pretty convinced.
When things like that happen, you kind of have a bit of a sceptical head on. You're looking at everyone, and I was looking at everyone to make sure no one was doing it. It was a dark room. I could still see everyone. I couldn't see anyone doing it. And I've gone back over the footage. I can't see that anyone's doing that. Obviously, certainly, I'd hope that no one would be purposely doing it. But even, without realising, we couldn't recreate that anyway. So I can't explain that one. I can't explain it.
Amy went upstairs with Chris, Carrington and Lee. Both the Lynns and myself were downstairs, and we were being very quiet to respect the people upstairs doing the investigation. But we did think that we would try and see if there were any other spirits in the room. When we put our fingers on the disc, nothing happened, nothing moved. So again, with Amy not being on the board, the disc stayed still. This has now got me intrigued, especially considering what we've already discovered with regards to the board working when Amy's there and not when she's not.
I think we need to do further investigating to figure a lot of stuff out. Certainly POPs is one of the main things that we need to figure out at this stage. I think that is becoming a little bit crazy. I mean, it was fun to begin with. He was offering to be part of the team, or we asked him to be part of the team. And, it was kind of a fun thought, like the fifth member that nobody could see. Crazy.
I think further investigation is definitely needed with regards to the Amy and Pop situation.
There was nothing that happened that night that proved to me the existence of ghosts.
It was interesting, and again, another exciting investigation.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a bit frightened. I thought I would be, but I wasn't. I thought it was wonderful.
Phantom Force, in the time I've known them, I feel they're on the right track. They're going the right way. Obviously, not being mediums themselves, it must be quite difficult. But they're investigating. They're trying hard. They're not too pushy. They're doing it in a gentle way. And so, good luck to Chris and Phantom Force.
Well, our views on this night are not necessarily right or wrong, but purely our own thoughts on events. Any doubts expressed on our part are not meant to cause offence. For example, I know that most of us had doubts over the voodoo beads, but further investigating could well prove that they do work. I don't know. Certainly no offence is meant towards Carrington. He's very understanding and is aware that our purpose is to question these things and that nothing is meant personally. And it's nice to work with someone like that who isn't immediately defensive when we may question certain things. He's very cool, a genuinely nice guy, and a lot of fun to work with, and we'd happily work with him again on a future episode.
I want all the nice female fans, that's what I want.
Carrington Marshall dares to scare. In the UK alone, there is a huge percent of people who believe in the paranormal. But do any of these people have genuine evidence which supports those beliefs? The same applies to the skeptics. So many of us are stuck in our beliefs, despite never having the proof to back up our claims. When a person tells you,
"There's no such thing as a ghost,"
how often does that person then present you with the evidence to prove they are right? The same applies to a person who tells you,
Ghosts do exist.
despite thousands of photos, video clips, stories and so on of supposed paranormal activity, there is still nothing concrete that proves 100% that ghosts exist. And yet millions of people are convinced that they do. At the same time, there is still nothing to prove that they don't exist. And yet skeptics are convinced that this is the case. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who knows? This is where we come in. Our job is to document our findings for you and attempt to find some answers. Our purpose is not to force our beliefs on you in one way or another, but purely to gather as much evidence as possible to prove once and for all the existence, or otherwise, of things paranormal. We dare to scare.
Everybody's happy when singing in the tub. La 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 la.
Do you?
The poem I have written for Phantom Force, and I dedicate it to ellis-stansfield. A phantom once in a time gazed long and hard through the looking glass. By and by, magic came. Keep still as stone, nor to breathe, surrounding us everywhere, anywhere. Look, do not fear angry hackles of your dog to rise. Time stands still for us. Phantom once in a time gazed long and hard through the looking glass. By and by, magic came.
We have been made aware that there is a negative energy in the house. There is a man, looks to me and he has no face. He was throwing things at my head.
What is it that you want?
What was that? My head's been squeezed really tightly.
Someone's here. My name is Catherine Brooks and I am a medium. When we were digging up the garden, we found a gravestone which belonged to a guy called John Wedgwick. And I promise you that this isn't going to be bad, but I do need you to open up.
Come on, you've got to do something.
Grow up! Every time that you've done this, you've ended up with a bad spirit. There's no reason why they should target you.
I feel almost pissed off.
I feel so uncomfortable. I reckon there's something going on there.